from Georgia. So I'm currently in this beautiful town of Gudauri. If you're here for a photography video, then today's video is not about photography. Please do come back next week where I'll post more photography related videos. I'm in Georgia and I'm traveling here for the first time, and I wanted to create an essential guide, something which you can keep handy, especially if you're traveling here for the first time. I'm going to share a lot of information related to flights, visa requirement specific to Indian visitors. If this section is not applicable to you, then please feel free to skip that. So first things first, I wanted to talk about the visa. Most Indians would require a visa when traveling to Georgia. I have put a link to the Georgian website below. If you are traveling, say, from any of the Western countries and also lot other countries, you can also check out the specifications there. You may not need a visa. If you're an Indian citizen and you already have a valid UK, US or Australian visa and also some other countries, then you don't need a visa when entering Georgia. But they will check your valid visa from these countries. I have a valid Australian visa, so I didn't have to apply for that. But my husband and daughter, they had to apply for the Georgian visa. And the process was pretty simple and straightforward. So when we applied for the visa online, it roughly took me 3 to 4 hours to complete the entire process. There is also an Aadhaar authentication which is required, which is conducted by a third party. Now you will receive your visa in 5 days, and we also got our visa in exactly 5 days. There are few options of flights from India, but there were no direct flight options from Bangalore. And the most economical flight which I found was from Indigo. But I had to do a domestic transfer to Delhi before taking a direct flight from Delhi to Tbilisi. Now, because I was already booking the transfer from Indigo, so they also arranged for my baggage to be transferred from the domestic to the international flight as well. But on the way return, I will have to do a self-transfer because of the immigration. They will not transfer your bag when you're actually returning from Georgia. One thing which is absolutely a must when you're coming to Georgia is to apply for a travel health insurance. So we took a travel health insurance from Tata AIG, and at the airport, the airline will also check your health insurance before you're boarding the flight. When we arrived at the immigration in Georgia, the process was simple and straightforward. They will also check your health insurance, but it depends on case-to-case basis. So it is definitely a must that you apply for a health insurance. Either way, either before you board your flight or during the immigration in Georgia, they will definitely check your health insurance. They also may check your funds for the stay, and they may also check any other requirement which is already mentioned on their official website. Georgia is a perfect destination for temperate kind of a climate, and especially if you like mild weather, then this is a perfect place. I'm currently here during April, and though the weather is a little unpredictable during this time, I still am having a very enjoyable time, and I'm trying to make use of the weather as much as possible. So the best time to visit Georgia is by far going to be the summer, starting maybe from late May going on till August. I'm here during April, and though the weather has been unpredictable, still I have been able to see a lot of bounce of spring here with a lot of flowers in bloom. So every season has its own charm. Now, one thing which you really absolutely need to keep in mind, especially if you're traveling to mountainous region, is that there will be very unpredictable weather in mountain. And initially, just before we came to Tsinandali, our plan was to go to Kazbegi, which is a mountain region just bordering Russia. And unfortunately, there was a very heavy snowfall just the day before we were going there, and the road were closed. So we had an unexpected plan change and we had to cancel our stay in Kazbegi. So we still wanted to see the mountains, so we went ahead and booked another stay in Gudauri, which was just before where the road was closing. Now Gudauri is a skiing resort town and it was a very unexpected stay for us. Now we didn't have any plans to stay there, but we did come across a lot of snowfall in Gudauri, which was really amazing. And for us, we have never stayed in snowy conditions for probably more than few hours. And it was also really nice because my daughter was seeing snow for the very first time. Now, again, I said the weather can be very unpredictable. When we arrived in Gudauri, the day we arrived, the weather seemed fine. And even the next day, half of the day was fine. There were some specks of sunlight, but the next day it started again snowing and we just couldn't even step outside the hotel room. And by the time we were leaving, the places which was like half covered with snow, everything was completely covered in snow. It was little unfortunate because we had plans to go and explore more of Gudauri, try out some maybe winter sport, but the day was just not in our favor and weather was just not in our favor. So this is something which you definitely need to keep in mind. The weather can be very unpredictable, especially during the shoulder months like early spring, which is what I am in now, and probably even in later during the autumn time. So plan accordingly, and if you're traveling during this month, you'll definitely come across a lot of rain which can dampen some of your plans. I have read that autumn is also another wonderful time to be here because you'll actually see autumn colors, say like red and orange, across the landscape. So Georgia is pretty accessible by road. So to travel between two cities, you will take few hours, and most likely you'll be traveling via Tbilisi. So what I mean is Tbilisi is almost in the center of Georgia, and to travel from one place to the other, you will be most likely kind of transiting either from Tbilisi or near Tbilisi. So by this, you will not be able to do a circle of the city. That's what I mean. But the good thing is Georgia is small enough, and in fact, traveling say from very far east to far west would probably take maybe a day's worth of travel. But you should plan your travel in a way that you cover a lot of stops in between and try to stay at places which are worth visiting with a lot of attractions. So if you're traveling to Tbilisi, there are a lot of itineraries which you can plan, and personally I did an itinerary on my own, and I really like to do itineraries on my own when I'm traveling to a new destination. So I wanted to cover the mountains, the wine region, and also touch some old Soviet era old towns and also some cultural spots. And currently I'm in the wine region of Khachapuri, which is known for a lot of wineries. And you can go ahead and plan your itinerary based on your personal preference, but I would highly suggest that you include some of these spots in these different regions, because each and every region is very different and they have their own kind of natural sceneries, and it's entirely different from the other. A couple of useful information about the currency. So in Georgia, they use Georgian lari, or in short also called as gel. Now one gel is equivalent to around 30 Indian rupee, or roughly around 0.36 USD. Now one thing you always need to keep in note or keep in mind is that a lot of countries, maybe, I'm not sure, but will not offer any exchange, or you will not find Georgian lari or gel exchange easily. So the best is to carry USD, and in fact before traveling here I did check in my home country to see if I could get some Georgian lari as an exchange there, but my bank didn't have any gel, or even the forex services which I was using didn't have any gel, and they recommended that I carry USD and I can get the USD exchanged here, which was quite convenient. So we did carry some USD and got it exchanged here directly at the airport. And I also did an exchange in Tbilisi in some of the city center. So I didn't find a lot of difference in the exchange rate. So you can definitely go ahead and get the money exchange at the airport as well. So Georgia is quite reasonable and definitely more affordable than Europe, and most of the prices, including the accommodation, is quite reasonable here. Now, when it comes to transport, so in big cities like Tbilisi and Kutaisi, the best way to travel across the city is using taxi apps like Bolt. And I felt Bolt was quite reasonable, and we took a Bolt from the airport to our accommodation. And it was quite affordable, and something the prices are similar to, say, like Ola in India. Cities like Tbilisi are quite walkable, and in fact, the place where we were staying in Tbilisi, we were staying very near to the Holy Trinity Church, and from there we could easily walk down to some of the attractions, say like Rijks Park and the Bridge of Peace. And also one thing definitely helps is the climate, because the temperatures are relatively mild, so you will not be sweating when you're walking for long distance. And you can easily cover a lot of attraction on foot. But in case if you still want to travel, say, far off distances within the city, then using an app like Bolt is really convenient. When you want to commute between the cities, then the best option is to use GoTrip. Now, GoTrip is a taxi services which will provide you transfer services between the cities. And I found that GoTrip is quite reasonable. And the best part of using this app and taxi services is that if you're traveling between two cities, you can actually plan your stops in between. And you can plan unlimited number of stops as long as these stops fall within the same day. We have already used this taxi services twice now, and we traveled from Tbilisi to Gudauri, but our plan was originally to travel to Kazbegi. And while traveling to the mountainous region of Kazbegi, actually there are a lot of attraction in between. So we had planned our stops in between, and the taxi driver will wait for you for unlimited number of time as long as you arrive within the same day. And for the second transfer, when we were traveling from Gudauri now to this wine region of Khachapuri, where we are currently, so I also planned few churches and monastery stopovers in between, which was really amazing. So we can you can take some detour also if required, and you can add these stops when you're planning your itinerary, and the price will be calculated based on that. But as long as if it is on the same route, then there are no additional charges for that. Now, stay in Georgia is quite affordable, and in fact you'll get a lot of budget accommodation. And we stayed at the Odin Apart Hotel, which was quite reasonable. It was a serviced apartment which also offered breakfast. Now, if you're planning to stay in Georgia, then there are also a lot of expensive options as well, but it all depends on your choice, and you will get a variety and range of accommodation options for you. When it comes to food is also quite reasonable in Georgia, and I would definitely recommend trying out some of the local cuisines here. Now, we prefer to have the breakfast option wherever we are staying, and also an option to cook our food if required. So we were staying at this Odin Apart Hotel, which was quite reasonable in terms. They also had a serviced apartment with a kitchen included in the apartment, and we were also able to have a breakfast along with that. But I would highly recommend you try out some of the local cuisine, which is quite different, and even when compared to the rest of the Europe. I hope you liked this guide, and please do drop me a note in comments below if you're looking at any other information. I'll be more than happy to answer them. And I will see you in another video. Till then, bye from this beautiful location in Georgia for now.